Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to everyone who is watching us online and to, of course, AHMED al-Ghamdi. Today, we are going to talk about our proposal that we did. It was named Time to Move On. So before talking about the presentation, I would like to welcome AHMED al-Ghamdi. Thank you for helping me in this presentation.
Yes, hello everyone. Now, before we start, you might notice that only one of us has their webcam open, which is Wael. Unfortunately, that is due to a hardware issue that I'm facing with my webcam.
No, but hopefully it's not a problem. Hopefully we can convey our message with or without the camera. So the topic of our presentation is time to move on. So time to move on from what? We're going to talk about the faculty building of this FCIT. So why are we making this presentation? We are making this presentation to address the issues that we face on a day-to-day basis in this faculty, the improvements that we hope to see in the near future, the things that we desire to have that our fellow faculties from the same university have. And after having all these problems solved, we hope to make FCIT and students of the FCIT reach new heights and make this faculty and this university proud, inshallah. So before we begin, I would like to ask everyone who is watching this video, and Ahmed, do you know when was the FCIT building established? An estimate year, maybe?
Maybe 2010.
You are a little off, Ahmed. The building was actually established in the year 2005, which means it has been almost 2 decades since this building. That's why we are facing the problems nowadays. So before we talk about the core issues that we face, we want to tell you guys what other students from this faculty believe. Before talking about that, we would like to share our first experiences and impressions about this faculty. You may go first, Ahmed.
Okay, my first impression was the building was too small. At first, I thought that I was at the wrong location because, I thought the building would be bigger. But other than that, I felt like the building was too cold inside. And yeah, that's about it.
My experience is a little more dramatic. So when I entered the KU for the first time, I came here for the exam Qudrat. Almost everyone does the exam, if not everyone. So I did the computerized version, which you have to go through the Faculty of Engineering to do that exam. So when I first came, there was a bridge that takes us from the parking lot to the building. The building was huge. It was kind of new. It was connected to the whole campus. It felt great, like I came to a university. So I had high expectations. Then I chose FCIT as my major, as my building. So before coming to the building, I never saw it. I think Ahmed, you told me you didn't see that before, right? You didn't see it.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah. So when I came for the first time, I was a bit shocked, I guess. The parking was small. The building was only like 2 stories. You could see everything. It was compact, I would say. When I came inside, the starting lounge, where you have the big screen and the logo, was nice. It felt good, which I saw on the Google Map photos. But when I entered the lecture rooms, it was kind of, I felt like an oldish feeling. The classrooms, some were cold, some were hot. There were no balance. Some barely had sunlight, no windows. And it felt weird. And we only had one auditorium. That was also weird for me. Anyways, enough of us. We should talk about what we gathered from other students. So we thought maybe we have high expectations. So we chose to talk to different students from the faculty and ask them. So we chose to make a survey and send it to hundreds of students. And this is what we got.
Now, as you can see to the left, these are the results to our survey. And not surprisingly, 70% of students think that this building needs to be changed.
Some of the sayings, uh, when we ask them if they were happy or not, we ask them one more question. Were they or were they not satisfied? And they should explain why. So these are some of the things that we got. Now, this shows that they are not satisfied from various things of this building. So we are here to address that issue.
Now, the main issues that we face. Number one is no food or drink services. As we all know, there's not a single place inside the building that we can get foods or drinks. So that's a big issue. Number two is the location of the building. The location of the building is far away from the main campus, so it is hard for students to go to like the central library, for example. Number three is parking problems. If you take a single look at the parking space for the FCIT building, you're going to immediately notice that it is too small and it cannot hold all of the faculty students.
Now,
Number four is
before you
okay,
continue,
Kamal.
Ahmed, I would like to add something about the parking situation. So when I came to this university, it's been like 3 months. Okay, during this 3 months, I saw 2 accidents in front of my eyes in the faculty parking because of its compact space. The main problem that I found out was that the entrance and the exit is at the same point, which makes it a critical point that can have accidents. That was something I would like to add. You may continue, Ahmed.
Number four is the small building space. We all saw like the building from the outside, from the inside. It is too small for like how many students are studying there. Number five is COVID protocol issues, and this issue is connected to the previous one. Because the building is too small, there's an issue with social distancing because there's simply not enough space for everyone inside. Number six is aesthetic of the building. The aesthetic of the building, as well as said before, the building was constructed in 2005. So the overall aesthetic of the building is kind of dull and old. Yeah, that's about it.
So I would like to add a couple more things. First of all, about the COVID protocol issues. It's not only like in the spaces we are sitting, it's everywhere. It's in the lecture room. It's sometimes during the examination, a place where we can sit between breaks. One last thing is we had an exam yesterday. We faced a very funny situation in there. So our faculty is Faculty of Computing and Technology, which means that our main basis is computing and technology. But yesterday we had an exam about programming, which was a lab exam, meaning we have to go and we have to solve some programming questions. So the funniest situation was every student that went yesterday had waited for like half an hour just to take the exam, to start the exam, because of the lack of computers, because too many students and less computers. The computers that were working, that were available, most of them weren't working. They were old. That was funny. How long you had to wait, Ahmed, for the exam?
Unfortunately, I had to wait for 30 minutes, maybe.
That's funny. A friend of mine, the exam was for we had 1 hour, 30 minutes, 90 minutes total for the exam. But a friend of mine only had 20 minutes to finish the exam due to the problems that we were facing yesterday. Anyways, moving on.
Now to the short-term solutions. The first short-term solutions is, of course, basic improvements to the FCIT building. When we're talking about this, we can't really go big with the improvements. So I believe that we need to start at the bottom and then work our way up. Another thing is installing vending machines and establishing the cafeteria. We discussed this before, and we all know that before the pandemic, there was a single cafeteria in the center of the building. So we're hoping that this cafeteria would be reopened. Uh, Number three is connecting the FCIT building with the green scooter system. In early September of this year, KAU started a public service for students that they can use to transport easier to the university. While it was implemented in most faculties, it is sadly still not implemented uh, in FCIT. Number four is improving labs and lecture rooms. This is, in my opinion, the biggest issues that we as students face. When we're talking about the faculty of computing, you'd expect that the computers would be functional, but unfortunately, that is not the case. The computers are old and slow. And for the last thing, which is fairly the easiest, simple stop signs can help prevent accidents that happen outside the building. Because as Wael mentioned before, he saw at least two, I think, right?
Yes, Ahmed, two accidents. Now, before we move on, we hope this message makes a difference and we can see these small changes in the near future. Like, for example, 1 second, the stop signs can be done within a week, for example. Hopefully, we see some changes. Now we are talking about the long-term solution. So this is the building that we all worked and loved for the last 20 years, almost 20 years. And it was beautiful for when it was built. But the only long-term solution currently we have is to make a new building and transfer the students there. And this new building, first of all, we need it urgently because students are, those who are studying right now are studying in a not so beneficial way. So this new building, we would like to see it's closer to the main campus, connected to other faculties, plus connect to the library that has all the books and places and computers. Should have better parking. Now, one funny thing I would like to talk about the parking issue. Something I really admire about the Faculty of Science is that their whole parking is so big that its area is more than our building and parking combined. Can you imagine it? Yeah, so that's a funny thing for me. We would like to see a big building with a big parking, of course, and a connection to food chains. We don't necessarily need restaurants connected to our faculty, but at least some place where a student can eat. Because sometimes we have to stay in the faculty for hours because of the breaks, and especially now during the COVID protocol issues, they made more breaks. So we have to sit in the faculty building for hours. And without access to food, it's difficult for our students. And lastly, what I've said before, connection to other faculties, and because we can then know each people other than our faculty, interact with people like a university, not like a school. And we hope to see this change soon, not in 4 or 5 years, hopefully, if possible, in like a year, because we want to see it before we graduate. So to end this, we would like to first of all say that we are thankful about everything that we get, thankful about the services and the studies that this university is providing us, and we are not at all ungrateful. But since the last 3 years, our university has thrived in the ranking globally. It went from top 300 to top 100. So we hope to see that increment in this ranking. We hope to see it in our faculty as well. In this presentation, we address the problems that we face, the short-term solutions that can be implemented within a couple of days, 2 months maybe, and the long-term solution that we certainly do need. And we hope that this presentation is not only just about marks, but it's more about the change that we want to see. Hopefully this presentation makes a change, and thank you for watching.